Space. Hi, Wallace. How are you?
Hi, Camila. Good evening. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I am very happy to be here with you today, as you probably already know. Although I'm a bit nervous about our conversation, our topic uh, today, because I find it to be very interesting, but also a bit challenging. And I have a question for you. Let's start off with this question. We've
Okay.
been friends for maybe a decade now, or more or
I think more.
less.
I guess about. It can be more than 10 years. I guess. Actually, it was 11 years since I joined the physics course. I guess so.
Maybe so over a
About.
decade, almost a decade, let's
Yeah.
say a decade. And I have been in several occasions. I mean, I know you are a person, you read a lot, you are a very smart guy. And in number of occasions you've mentioned this, help me pronunciate his name, Bauman,
Zygmunt
Zygmunt,
Bauman.
Zygmunt Bauman. So you have mentioned in several conversations we'd had, and you recommended, you even made me, you forced me to listen the other day. You sent me a video, go listen
Okay.
and then come back. And then so I'm I'm assuming you are a fan of his work.
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask you, you are from, can you hear my cat? My cat is meowing. He wants to enter. Never mind.
No.
No, yeah, it's
Okay.
the okay. Never mind. So sorry. Excuse me. So you are from the physics, from this field of mathematics. I don't know if in English we say science, hard sciences.
Yeah. I guess Earth sciences.
Yeah, but you have an interest in social sciences and psychology and other topics. And I wanted to ask you, it was always the case, how did you become interested in Zygmunt Bauman? How do you see yourself in this field of knowledge?
Uh, Actually, I heard of it, seen a video from a channel, which is one of the videos that I sent you. I guess there's a channel called Whiteboard, Quadro Branco. It is
Mhm,
a Brazilian sociologist. I don't know, a Brazilian philosopher, and
mhm,
he does talk. His channel is not about exactly to mention about some sociologists or some specific field. He does talk a lot about many things. And this one video grabbed me. It was very catchy, the subject. And so I I think, oh, okay, I have to read about this guy now. This is obvious. And I start reading about him, and I find it very interesting because I think the topics that he brings up, we we don't tend to talk about it actually. Like these subjects are one of those things that once that these are brought up to the conversation, people always like run away from this and let the subject dies because people don't used to think about it or don't used to talk about it, and we never explore these kind of things a lot, and we just keep like not knowing about it. And I find these things that we do not dominate, we do not talk about, very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Why are you exactly talking about? What are the topics we don't talk about? Because I know that Sigmund, like in general terms, I know
Yeah.
that he talks about the, oh, help me, does that translate to the liquid society, the liquid love, how things are,
Post-modernity, and then he talks
it's
about that.
postmodernity. Yeah. So are those the topics you are referring to that people do not want to talk about? How we live, actually, how we relate to one
Yeah,
another?
I believe that we do not use to study about how the society worked, how it
Mm-hmm.
has evolved, and how we how the how do our society right now, how this is structured, and where are we going to by doing things that we are doing today. So
Mm-hmm.
we're like drifting in this subject, and we do not know how does this work. We just are here somehow. We are
Yeah. Yeah.
making things work, but we do not have the slightest clue of how does this work and how to change if there is something bothering
Mm-hmm.
us. We don't know.
Yeah.
So, and his point of view, it is I think it is very clear, very well defined, even that we do not talk a lot about it, and it may be challenging to start a study, but I believe that it is a very interesting point of view of
Yeah.
how did things changed, at least, and to see his point of view of where we're going, I think is very straightforward in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. There is a quote by Paulo Freire that says something: if we don't know the history, we are bounded to make the same mistakes again. There's something like that.
Yeah.
Or in this case, maybe not the same mistakes, but if we don't actually know, like you said, what the present is like, what the hell is going on here, what lead us to this moment, how could we tell how things are going to develop in the future? But to be more specific, to talk about more specific things, I remember that when you sent me that video that you forced me to watch,
Yes.
I was telling you about a podcast. I was telling you about how we are very alone nowadays, but we feel like we are not, or we actually don't want to face this hard truth, uh, because maybe we are. It's great. Like society has a lot of but a lot of shows to distract ourselves. Like there are plenty of things to go to when we are feeling lonely, like there are movies, video games, a lot of things that we could do to not realize how alone we are. And actually, Zingman has this, he said in the video that you sent that we are solitary or alone in the crowd of
Yes.
other
Solitary people.
solitary
Yeah.
people, and so we are very lonely. And I have never realized that up until the point where I heard that podcast that I'm not sure if I sent you, if I commented about that, if I mentioned it to you only, how we, if we were to call someone in the middle of the night with a heart attack, few of us would have at least one person to call to. No one, according to the guy in the podcast, no one, it's not manageable to have more than five close friends that you could call to. Uh, it's difficult to have this kind of relationship, like this relationship where I am your friend and I'm here for you and you can count on me, let alone 500 friends. It's not possible. And to have that many friends.
Yeah.
So something that I worry about is how so, and I started actually, it was not a concern of mine, but it is now that how social medias are affecting how we see the world, we see ourselves. And I wanted to ask you, how is that for you? Do you how do you relate to social media? How, because I know that you have Facebook, you have Instagram. Do you have many offline or online friends, people you only talk over the internet? How do you
Yeah. I
see
have
this?
these different kind of relations, like a in-person relations, and I have these online
Mm-hmm.
relations also. And I, I actually did. I think that for me is is different how I deal with it, because I think that this way that you're thinking about it is how we tend to keep this idea that the online friendship or relationship should be as much strong as the in-person relation should be also. But I do not believe that this is necessary, this is mandatory. I believe that, okay, as Bauman said, that the society is changing, and I believe that trying to fight it is just like a water and a stone. Like, we are fighting a lost fight. We cannot deal with it. We are
Mm-hmm.
just prolonging our suffering. Like, we are trying to make something that is bounded to the failure. We are trying to keep something that is probably never going to happen. So I believe that it's okay to have different kind of relationships on different medias. Like, if this is
Mm-hmm.
online, I'm not supposed to expect this. Actually, I believe that is this. The problem is this expectation, that we always expect something that we do not have the slightest clue that this is going to happen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just keep dreaming that, any connection that we have is always the same as it was for us when we were young and everyone was physically around us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one point is, I don't know if the Zennials, the millennials, then these new generations, that if they feel this way, like,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that people that was already born on this
Yeah.
online world, they do not tend, at least I believe, that they do not tend to expect this much of a friendship. I believe that
Yeah.
their connections are already extended. Like, they are not this close as we expect. Like, we think about our friendships in the childhood. I don't know if their
Yeah.
friends from childhood are the same way that we built.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I think we who were born in a different time, we, I guess I can say, like in general terms, we expect to have more deep bonds with people. It's an expectation, I'd say. And maybe we go to the virtual world and we want to, but I'm not sure if we do want to, or if we, sometimes I feel like what I expect is that people would be like this, but I don't want to give what I
Yeah,
expect in return. Or if we are just, I don't know, playing it cool, pretending like we don't care, but deep down, with every like disconnection, like Bauman says, that nowadays it's very easy to connect and disconnect, and it does not, it isn't very stressful. You can just not talk to someone ever again, and the person maybe does not even know where you live. They couldn't, you don't have the stress of sitting down with someone and says, look, we need to break.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I think that for us, for this generation that was born before
Mm,
this era of Facebook friends and stuff, we are very conservative in this way of thinking about the relationship. We think that, okay, once we are friends, we are like those childhood friends, like we are like
forever.
living close, yes. But okay, now Facebook or WhatsApp or anything, we have this option to delete the account of this friend, and you do not need to talk with it again. But I feel that we have this tool and we do not know how to properly use it. Like, there are
What do
many
you
friends
mean?
that we have, like we have, eventually we start this friendship, and something happens and you go there and exclude one friend of yours, and you still have that feeling that I have something to say for him, and
Mm,
eventually you go there without asking to be his friend again, and you start to text him, and but like, is this bond that is partially breaking, but is you don't know if there is no connection anymore, if there is some connection anymore, and you, it is something that is bad resolved. It's not actually resolved. And but I believe that people, this is what I believe. People now in these new generations, they have this idea more construct, more established. Okay, you excluded London is now. I don't give a shit anymore. But I don't know. I guess we do not have this clear view yet, or I don't know if we are going ever to have this.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I guess that's true. I will tell you a personal story, and also that I'm always sharing personal stories on my channel, and that when Bauman talks on this subject, like we back then we would confess our sins or intimate things to the priest in church,
Yeah.
and now we are with microphones telling everyone about our lives, like what is the balance of it all, like sharing things. And then I saw, wow, am I oversharing? Well, maybe we all are at some extent. We are all sharing. Sometimes I see some bloggers, some even friends that go to stories on Instagram and they talk for a lot of different stories, like how their day went. And I'm like, wow, it's very weird that we are sharing like very basic things, like things that I don't know, but those are the times now, I guess. But anyway, so what you said reminded me of a person. I I don't have much of experience like excluding deleting contacts on Instagram or Facebook, but I did recently with someone that was a friend of childhood. Like he was my oldest friend, but I noticed that actually, now looking at it, maybe I didn't have to exclude, no, I didn't block, like delete. Now that I like several months, it was not that recently, but now when I look at it, I think that indifference, like you mentioned, the new generations is like to say, I don't care, let it be there, I'll delete it. It doesn't make any difference. But I we were friends since I was 3 or 4, but when we entered in university, we followed separate paths. Like normal, it happens. But I was with the expectations that once we graduated from college, once we had like our jobs, life would be more calmer, and then our paths would cross again, and then we would continue that friendship, like that perfect friendship we had when we were growing up. But that, of course, never happened, and I was expecting that. And then, but I would always give myself excuses like, okay, it's because I don't live in Belo Horizonte anymore. It's because once I'm in Belo Horizonte, once, like, it would always something in the future, like we are going to continue that friendship. It was so perfect after all. But then I came to Belo Horizonte. I came, and then I texted him. I said, "Oh, I'm living in Belo Horizonte now. So let's keep, let's, how to say, let's
Return to
continue.
our friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's return to our friendship. Let's do this." And then he said, "Yes, let's do that." And then, okay, and then he said, "No, I'm overworking. I'm working too much, but I'll call you." And then I said, "Okay, I'll wait." Um, and then one day, I no, he actually did call me, and then he said, no, he sent me a text and said, "I just moved to a different city." And then that shocked me because he knew I was here. We didn't meet, and he moved to a different city. And then I thought, wow, he moved and he just telling me now that he's in another city. What does that mean? And then I asked him, like, what about us, our meeting? And then he said, my moving was a last minute event. Come on, a last minute event. Who, like, because in order to move he had to find another job in another city. He's married, he has cats. it's planning. There are some plannings to moving. It's not last minute thing that I could inform you. And then I, without thinking much, maybe I just, and he was a friend of Luan as well. And Luan, like 5 years ago, decided not to be friends with him anymore. And other friends that were friends, like a childhood friends, decided not to be friends with him anymore because life was totally different, which is normal. But I was still expecting. But then I decided to, that it was, that was it. There was no friendship left, because if there was, he would let me know. And it was not his fault. It's just that sometimes things end, but we don't realize. It takes us time to, oh, that's nothing there anymore. So then in the heat of the moment, I deleted him from my social media. And then some days later, I was like very unresolved. And then I did what you just said. I sent him a message like, and then I explained. And then everything was okay. Like, and it felt for me like freedom after I explained. And then I said everything I wanted to say. And he said everything he wanted to say. And you could say that is very dramatic. It's okay. But I felt like, okay, so I had some closure and it's okay. Now it's okay. And now if we meet again some years in the future, it's okay. It's okay. It's sometimes I guess we have to face when things are over. I don't know. It was a long story, wasn't it?
Ah, that's the point. I believe it. What I'm saying is we were born on a different time, and on this
Yeah.
time we were very, like Bauman said, we were living in a sense of community. We have these close friends that live around us, that actually we do things every day and we talk about everything. And eventually when people start moving to another cities and we can like grab a plane and be on another continent in a
Yeah.
couple hours, and we start to lose this kind of perception on how things are different now. And the point is, I think that our generation did not resolve it very well, is that excluding some friend on a social media does not necessarily change the status of, oh, okay, I like being with these people, to I hate these people. It's just that eventually you're not seeing people anymore, you're not actually connected, not talking. And this does not necessarily means that everything is
Yeah.
ended, we do not need to talk
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, it's okay. It's like, it's just like eventually, if you like in 1995, you move into another city. If you do not have that people phone, you do not talk to him anymore. And then it's like he's died, something like that. You do not talk, and
Yeah.
you do not need to hate this person just for moving.
Yeah.
Life continues. This is how things work.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think that, I guess we wouldn't think back then, maybe I might be wrong, but if we moved to a different city, like you had to move because of a job position, I don't know, you wouldn't consider maybe, I guess nowadays we want this instant connection. Like if I send a message for you to you on your WhatsApp, if you don't reply within a day or two, I might think, oh, is it over? What happened? Did I do something? But back then, if I moved to a different city and if I sent you a letter, and if you didn't reply for 2 months, 3 months, maybe it wouldn't cross my mind like, is it over? I guess we built before bonds, like for example, you and me. For me, at least, what I feel about you is that we've met in a different time. Well, 2010, I don't know, it's not that different of a time like this, but I feel like as we met in a time where they were changing already. Facebook was there already, but I guess we shared, like, I remember that day we went to that concert. Remember, you two and Maroon 5, and then
Yeah.
our connection was not online. It was like we did something things together, and then even after you moved to another city, that those memories that I don't know, I didn't ever it didn't ever cross my mind. Oh, now he lives in Porto Alegre. We will not ever see each other again. But nowadays, I think that if we meet someone online, only online, if our first interaction is online, and if we don't talk to that person much, it might, if we don't text, if it might, I think that the volume of people we are always meeting online, talking to, it's so big, vast, that if you don't talk to someone, like maybe we went maybe over a year without saying anything, and for me it was not like, oh, now it's over, what a shame for me, and I guess, but I don't know. I guess nowadays, if I meet someone online and if that person does not talk to me for a year, in a year, I wouldn't think, maybe I wouldn't even think about that person anymore. After a year, who is this human that, or I don't know,
It's texting
nickname
me. Okay. Yeah,
that is texting me?
it's
What
a
is this?
count. Who is this ID talking to me again?
Yeah, I might have a hard time remembering who is this person.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I care. Have you heard about that son of Valkyria that committed suicide? I don't know.
no.
I was very impressed. It was 3 years, 3 days or 4 days ago. He, Valkyria, she was a lead singer of a forró band, and her son committed suicide because he posted a video on TikTok pretending like he was going to kiss his friend, male friend, but then not kissing properly. They thought it was just a joke. He was 16, but then he received a lot of criticism on the internet and he committed suicide just like that. So I wonder, like, at how those generations, like, we wouldn't probably, like, if I posted a video on the internet, I might be very sad, upset that people are saying whatever, but those are people I don't know. I wouldn't care that much. But nowadays, these new people generation, they are living online. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I agree with you that mainly these new generations are oversharing, as you said. They
Yeah.
like post what they eating for lunch, what they eating for dinner. They let some people that do not change to pick a movie for them to watch. And like, I believe that this amount of exposure is the need of having someone closer. I mean, like, if you do not have someone like a neighbor, like a next door neighbor that
Hmm.
talks to you every day, you need to have some. We are a social species. Like, we
Yeah.
need interaction,
Yeah.
and we do. If you do not have this kind of close interaction with a next door neighbor or something, if you post it and you have like I don't know, 5,000 followers, 20,000 followers, eventually someone will answer you, someone will interact with you. And I guess that this kind of oversharing is this need to be interacted with, and
Yeah.
eventually people may not like what you post. And back to our time, if we do something like it was, we're going to be like two or three friends, and if someone did not like it, you excluded him. You like you get in a fight or something, and things were dissolved. You did not
Yeah.
have this amount of
Yeah.
problems. But now you post something, the thing can go viral and can be like 20
Wow.
million people saying bad
Yeah.
things about you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is difficult. But at the same time, this amount of interaction, people do not know how to deal with it. I guess on the both ways, that on the bad way, people on the part of criticism, and on the part of uh, people like messaging you like they love you and putting you on a pedestal, and you start to build this image that you are some kind of god or something all powerful, and you start to believe on this. And I don't know, people
Yeah.
are having a hard time on separating things.
Yeah. What is your advice then? Like, what should we do to live a it's interesting that in the video he talks about towards the end, like the video, but he talks about Socrates' recipe for happiness. So what should we do? Because it feels toxic. It feels like nowadays we are all exposed to it, to these interactions, to this liquidity, this post
Yes, I
modern.
this liquidity, yes, I think that one way, one thing I believe that all this exposure is always chosen. We we choose to share this
Mhm.
number of things. Eventually, we have this feeling of not choosing. Oh, I did not need to post this, but people keep sharing, 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 and I believe that you do not need to post everything. I guess people are losing their time of enjoying things. They have this need of, okay, I'll go to a restaurant. I have to take a picture to send to someone. No, you need to eat that thing on the plate. You don't need to take any picture. But people are, I think that they are changing the way of living things by feeding on what people think about what they are doing, and not feeling about what they are doing actually. They just need to be happy with the opinion of others of him. Like, I I think people needs to, okay, I think people needs to go more offline, but I do not believe that this is going to happen.
Yeah,
I believe that we are going more and more online.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, when he talks about the difference of a community and a network in the video, I was thinking the difference, right, between a community and a network. That reminded me of a conversation that I watched with Zuckerberg and that man who wrote Yoval. Do you know him?
Yeah, yes.
That's his name?
Sapiens.
Sapiens,
Uh,
yeah.
Noah Yuval, I guess.
Noah Yoval. Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation between Zuckerberg and Noah Yoval. And Zuckerberg was building like a strong case uh, in favor of Facebook and Noah against, of course.
Okay.
And it felt like, yeah, I felt so many things like, but so Zuckerberg, he was saying that he actually grew up feeling lonely because he was different from his friends and he had to join several sports, practice sports, but he was into programming. And if back then, when he was growing up, there was like social media places where he could go and make friends and make online friends, he wouldn't have felt so alone or misunderstood, and he wouldn't practice sports and things like that, or like be integrated in his community. He was from a small city. And then on the other hand, in that conversation, Noah was saying that that's the importance of the community, that you are somehow, it's not like you are forced to try new things, but you are, or at least it was like that back then, you had to interact with people and experiment. And in those experimentations, you could find things that you wouldn't naturally do. But nowadays, like you said, the tendency, I think, is to go more online, and we might lose a lot of valuable things because we will think like, okay, so I am into languages and I can be at home talking online with people who are into languages, but that's all of my life will be about languages. But if I force myself, or if I had to go out and interact with people in the real world, I might decide to, I don't know, take I don't know, a swimming lesson that could m- make me happy or happier. Who knows? But since I won't go,
But you said something interesting. Eventually, I read some. I don't know if I read or watched something. This definition. Okay, two things. One
mm,
thing is this: you mentioned about going out to the real world.
mm,
Who
mm,
said that online world is not real world?
okay, good.
This is one thing.
There.
You can pick a world for you. The world
Mm-hmm.
can be small or can be great. But
Okay.
one
But
thing is
I
this.
did this. I did this.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. And the other thing is what I believe that the problem with this social media is it's not just for social media, but I believe is that the problem is the terms, the like on Facebook you have to like I don't know I don't remember if exactly this is add a friend, but I believe that the word, the term friend, it carries a very powerful meaning that at least our generation expect something of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And when you connect to someone on Facebook, you do not necessarily have a friend. That's the
Mm-hmm.
point, I believe. This thing that Mark Zuckerberg said, "Oh, I don't have these friends like physically, and I can have these friends online." But I believe that we should use another term. We should use another word.
Mm,
And I believe that this is a problem of perverting some words. Like there are a
mm,
lot of words that are very badly chosen for things like the word here in Brazil, the myth. There are some words that eventually they were picked and the meaning, the original meaning is lost. Like people, everyone call him, he's a genius. Genius is a word that for me is very valuable. People should not keep calling other people genius.
mm-hmm.
There are very few geniuses on the history. This is not this word that you can use like that is a word like it should be kept apart.
Okay. Hey,
And I
that's
guess that the
interesting.
problem that
Yeah.
this is one problem I guess with the social media. You expect a friend, and a friend I believe is someone that you can count on and that you expect some things. And there's you have like 1,000 friends on Facebook. You do not you can expect that much of 1,000 people.
Yeah. Is the limit 5,000 on Facebook? I guess it
I don't
is.
know. Yeah.
I guess it is. You cannot have over 5,000. Over 5,000. Yeah, I guess. But it's not possible to have. Yeah, maybe what you suggested, it could be like acquaintances, colleagues is work thing, but yeah, maybe it could carry another name, maybe.
And
Oh,
connections, something, anything
connections,
else.
yeah. Yeah. For my mom, for example, I don't know if your mom is in Facebook. She came
Yeah, my mom
later.
is
She came later. My
everywhere.
mom too. My mom, she entered Facebook 2 years ago, and she does not know how it works. And for her, it's even harder, you know. So when someone asks her to be her friend, and if that she lives in a small town, and if she has the person on Facebook, the person asks her to be her friend, and then she find that person at the supermarket and the person does not say hi, she takes it personally, because for her it's like, why did she ask me to enter on my Facebook if she's not going to greet me, to say hi to me in
Yeah,
line online? And then she gets really confused, like, and then she'll go there and unfriend the person, because
yeah,
her mentality is like, for us, we can understand that it's, if they do not say hi to us, it's okay. But my mom, she does not understand that. She does not. For her, it's very difficult. If she's friends on Facebook, it means friends in life. It's
yeah, forever.
forever.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a contract, like, will you be my friend? And she will say
yeah.
yes, and sometimes she will say no. No, Camila, that person
No.
friended me on Facebook, and then I had to say no because I don't know him or her. I've never seen her. Like, wow.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Yeah, that's what I meant about the. I guess the problem is the word, like a friend. Do you accept this? This is like a title. You mean he's my
Yeah.
friend. Do you know
Yeah.
who I'm friends with?
Yeah. Do you know my friend?
Yeah,
Do you know my
yeah,
friend?
yeah,
Yeah. I am learning. I guess meditation's been helping me. I've been developing some interesting oh interests, some interests offline. And now
yeah.
even when I post on Instagram, sometimes I will, but I don't feel the urge like I need to post this. But I will post things and then I won't expect for likes. In the past, I would expect, but nowadays I will post some things, mostly pictures of my cats, and then I will unlog, disconnect, and then some days later I will connect again, and I might see who did, but I won't pay close attention to the likes. And but I know that, for example, I have some friends that they will post things on stories and then they will talk to me like they would expect me to have watched that. And when I say, oh, I actually don't know what you're talking about, they will say, how not? I posted on my stories. And then I'll be like, sorry, didn't
Yeah,
see.
my mom does this.
Yeah,
She posts something like on Instagram, and then later she comes to me saying, "Oh, I did that." I say, "Oh, yeah, I saw," but you not liked it. I said,
oh,
"Okay, but
oh,
I liked it. I
in
did
my
not
mind.
push the yeah, I did not push the button. I did like this."
I did notice that I posted a video of us on my Instagram and you didn't comment, but you did like it. But yeah, but you are like this sometimes. Sometimes you don't answer, especially emails, but it's
No,
okay.
you're
Okay. Hmm.
okay.
What are your excuses?
No, no, I do not have. And
I do like emails. I do like it feels to me like it's more for me how we text with WhatsApp. Um, it's suffocating sometimes how sometimes people are just sending words. We are not actually talking. And with the audios, like I told you before, it's even worse. Like, why not to call people? Why not to, if we have to say something. So for example, when someone you haven't spoken in a while says, "Hi, how are you?" And then you say, "Hi, I'm fine. And you?" I'm fine." So I would expect that if someone says hi, would have something to say and the conversation wouldn't die in that moment, but sometimes that's the case. We don't have much to say, but we are communicating. And for me, hmm, it's difficult. I mean, we should have things to say to people,
yeah,
but we don't.
I get, I two things. One thing I believe that this postmodern society has, Bauman said, it do have this necessity to make us anxious about things. We need to keep consuming things, and
Yeah.
when there is not something for us to consume, we get sometimes bored, sometimes mad, sometimes like forgotten, and we have
Mm-hmm.
a mix of these bad feelings because the society forced us to have this large amount of our lives online. We have to
Mm-hmm.
consume these things. Like eventually, if you go to a field, like a field house, I don't know, a farm, something like that, and you do not have like light for a day, there are some people that will die eventually. I don't know.
Yeah.
People get very upset on this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other things, and the same way, like WhatsApp has this feature that sometimes bother me, is that people that when it appears for us that the person that you are talking or not is typing. It appears typing, and you keep like waiting for for the person to send you. But eventually it might happen that the person, like, she would say something and just type like space and change to another conversation and forgot to delete it. It keeps like typing and you don't never know, and you guess she's texting me like a letter. I did
Yeah.
something, and you get like mad about it. Okay, what the fuck are you typing that much? What have I done for you?
Yeah.
What the, and it keeps
Anxious,
building us
anxiety.
this, yeah. And
Hmm.
but at the same time, I think that eventually this new friendship mode online, sometimes that it builds this fear on us that, okay, if I do not talk to him about for a week, this friendship may die, and I have to talk, at least send a meme to the person, send a sticker just for it to know that I'm alive or something like that. But
Yeah.
I do not agree necessarily with it. But okay, I'm one person in a 7 billion per
Yeah.
people society. Okay, so, but I do not agree with it. I do not have this need, and sorry for those who expect me to keep texting them every day, but I'm not that person.
Yeah. It is sort of like freedom. I what happened to me lately, especially like with meditation, I keep bringing that up because that changed my life in so many ways. But I am learning to be less detached, like not depending on having certain things in life. Because what I've learned is that everything that we have eventually will be taken for us, and we ourselves are going to die one day. So everything you have right now, if you look in the past, like we have lost so many things, and life is deterioration. We are going to keep losing things and ourselves eventually. So I try not to. So so if I have something right now, let's say this glass, I guess that's how it calls glass. I
This container, this cup,
this,
this,
this cup, this thing, I might, it's acrylic, so I had to buy acrylic because I was breaking all my glasses. But I try not to get attached to it, although it's very beautiful, it's red and I love it. I know that if I know that, and if I, because I have lived that, I have lost so many things. So I know what it is like to lose things, it hurts. So if I don't create like a codependence thing with people, it's easy when they go, it's easy when they don't reply. Like you said earlier, like the expectations, like I try to think that if I so when I catch myself getting anxious about not receiving a reply, because I do get anxious, especially when it shows the two blue
yeah,
points, or if
the
people
chicks, yeah,
starts ticks, it says ticks.
yeah, I guess, yes,
Okay,
the chicks.
the chicks.
Oh,
Okay,
checks. I
checks,
mean,
checks,
okay,
checks.
yeah,
Okay,
okay, and the
checks.
checks.
Okay, and or when people are typing and they don't ever send it, and then I started to say, and then before I would say, oh sorry, did I say something wrong? Sorry, did I upset you? What happened? And then I would say I didn't mean anything. So now I try to visualize my life without that person or that situation or that thing or object or whatever. So I would think, will I be okay if tomorrow, or if I lose this person tomorrow, if that person is not in my life tomorrow, will I still be able to carry on, to go on, to show up for work and to be with other friends and with my cats, take care of myself? Would I be okay? And if the answer is no, if the answer is no, I cannot live without that thing, this glass or that person, then I know that I have to work on something on myself. Like I will do a meditation. I will try to contemplate that. Why is that person so important? Why do I need that answer? Why do I need this thing? And then I will come to a conclusion that eventually that it's okay. And then the person will answer eventually. Like it's not a life and death situation. Like it's okay. It's things are
Most
okay.
probably it's not gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's helping me to be less, I want to say immediatist, and to to depend so much on circumstances and people and or things. But it's difficult because we all want to be loved and liked and feel important to others and to impact others. It's something difficult to be a human being is difficult. I really, I guess that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate what you do. Like you're trying, like me as well. Like you are always informing, reading, and asking yourself questions and trying to be better and to understand better and to relate, to have better connections and relationships. That's great. I am trying to do that too. But I guess, like you also said earlier, most of people, they don't have a clue where they are and what they're doing. They are just going with the flow and they are doing what maybe others are doing. And I don't know, it's difficult to have meaningful conversations. And in fact, I know that I've been talking too much today, but I want to tell you something else. Um, a student of mine, she said something because I guess she watched my channel or conversation and others that I had. And then she said that she was somehow somewhat jealous of me. She said that she wanted to have more meaningful relationships with people. She said that when she would meet her friends, they would talk about their days, like how are you, what did you do, how was your week. They wouldn't talk about something really deep. And then she said that I she thinks that I do have like people with whom I can be deep with, but it's not that the case. It's not entirely true. Is I keep trying to create situations like, and it's not easy. So I do try to like, so when I first invited you, let's talk about this. Or if I go to somewhere, I try to take some topic with me. It's that I am trying really. And people, they appreciate that because it's maybe something that they have never thought of before. They did not thought it was possible. So I told her, maybe next time you're going to meet your friends for coffee or something, send them a podcast, send them a small text, ask them to read that, and then you go there and you talk. Maybe they won't like it, but maybe they will. So it's important to try to give the people the opportunity to be, instead of saying, oh, those people, they're not deep, they're not good. I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think that from my experience, I probably wouldn't send things to
Really?
others. Yeah,
Why?
I would myself, I would consume this kind of content. I would, if I think, oh, I should talk more about like equality or something like that. I
Mhm.
would research about it, and eventually with someone I would bring this up and just see what happens. Because
Mm,
I don't think that people like to push themselves. People always like to be on comfort zones. They do not like to uh, keep searching for difficult answers. But there is
mm,
this universal law that we saw on physics, that the universe always works to minimize the energy need. So we do never choose the hard path. We always
interesting.
choose the easier way. Water always tries to conquer a mountain. Water never climbs a mountain. Never, never. It doesn't matter what. So people, if you just ask someone, okay, could you please read this for us to talk about it? Okay, it can happen that someone will do, but on the
Yeah,
average, people
yeah,
won't do that. So see, this kind of difficult questions, i- if you want some kind of answer, you have to, okay, you have to you
fine.
have to you have to you have to look for it. You have
Yeah,
to research for yourself.
yeah.
There is no way of. I believe that. I
I'm more
believe that it
optimistic
would.
than you.
I believe it would frustrate me actually, and I do
No,
not want to be this. I do not want to put myself in this kind of
you don't
situation.
want to be vulnerable. Huh.
Okay, yes.
But what is the worst thing that could happen? Like if you send someone something, they could say, I forgot, sorry, I didn't have time. But we don't have to take that personally. It might happen,
Or
but it
no,
might surprise you. It might, no? What do you
no.
think?
I think that it can be very worse than this.
Mm,
I can eventually I can bring this one subject, like I don't know, one thing that keeps destroying friendships in Brazil, which is politics. You can always send something
yeah,
of politics to someone, and you, from your experience,
I
you
know.
deeply hope that someone would agree with you on some point, and then it goes straightly on the other extreme, and you just like destruct this image that you have on this person. Okay, oh, I thought that he was reasonable, but he's
And now I have to
what?
break up with him. I have to
Yeah,
delete him.
yeah.
Block.
He was actually faking everything. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it can be very very bad. So I think that eventually, if you want some answer, you have to search for yourself, and okay, you can then bring to someone.
yeah. No, I think people might surprise you. I'm more optimistic than you. You know, when you come and visit me here, you're staying in Belo Horizonte for now, for good,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah,
So when we get vaccinated and you come and visit me, you
eventually.
see, yeah, you see that in my, yeah, I guess I might be vaccinated next week or in 2 weeks if things keep like the way they are. But so in my, I bought some aquarela
Okay,
paintings, and
yeah,
every friend that comes and visit me, I invite them to paint something to
okay,
put in my wall. So I have a
okay,
wall that I intend to cover with my friends' paintings. But of course, my friends are not artists. Like they are drawing things that for me they're very special actually. So
okay,
when they first come and then when they look at my yellow table and they see that I have like my paintings and the water and the pencils and the paper and they get confused, and then I said we are going to paint today, and they I can see that they couldn't see that coming. And then I have my Brazilian Engenheiros do Havaí music, Los Hermanos, playing, and it's enjoyable. Like, but people, they wouldn't think of this. It's like you said, we are in our comfort zones and we couldn't. But once, I guess, we start doing things like that. And then the other day a friend told me, you know, when I have my apartment, I like that idea. I might do something like that. And I think we can inspire people, even if it's just one. So I think in my optimistic, idealistic way of seeing things, I think we can like try and instead of going to that person's, I want to say level, but I'm not trying to say it's bad where people are. I think we can meet them where they are, or we can bring them to where we are sometimes. And sometimes we might do what they want, but sometimes and another idea that I had, because I was contemplating this and I thought, yeah, maybe if I send them articles they might not want to read, but if they come here, I could say, we are going to watch a short movie together. And then we are going to talk about it, because if I send a video, maybe get lost, they won't watch. But if they're all here, and then I say, let's do this and let's talk, you are going to love it. They're obligated. Like, what
yeah.
could I say? Like,
Not giving them any choice is best, right?
you might be, I don't know. But then,
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and then the first time it's like that. But maybe the second time, if I send something in advance, they might watch, they might read. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe, but I think we have to create like, and maybe I don't want to be friends with people who nowadays I'm thinking about that. Like I'm 31.
Right now, thinking about it.
I'm
I don't
thinking
want.
about it. No, 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 not right now in this instant. But I've been thinking that I it, For every friend, for every relation, a true relationship that you have, it's time that you spend, it's energy.
Yes.
And so it's better to stick with those people who are mind like, who are
Yeah.
similar, maybe.
Worth. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I believe so, but I'm very used to hope for the worst. I do not. I tend to
You
keep
make
my
me.
expectations very low, so I can be, so I can have good surprise. All right.
I
I like to be. I like to
Wallace.
be. No, I'm very. I'm being very sincere here. I like to keep the expectations extremely low, so people can impress me.
Wow.
Yeah, I like being impressed. I like being okay. Oh, that was nice.
Oh wow. You're constantly impressed then if you have basically
Yeah,
no
that's
expectation.
exactly, that's the good thing about it. If you're always expecting people to be excellent, you're going to be frustrated.
Yeah. No, you yeah, that described me. I'm
No,
always
I mean
expecting
it.
for the worst.
Yes, I always expect for the worst. I mean, like, there is this one phrase that it probably misunderstood or mislinked to Einstein, that people, what is it? There are two infinite things, which are the universe and the stupidity of the people, or something like that. I did not actually believe that he said that, but whatever. So people do not uh, stop being stupid eventually. People are always keeping the frustration level high.
Wow.
So I do the inverse. I keep expecting very low of them so they can do anything that they do will be good, basically.
Yeah, they cannot, how to say this,
Disappoint me. It's
disappoint you.
hard
They
to,
cannot
yeah,
disappoint you. It's hard to disappoint
yeah.
you. Wow. Yeah, it must be a nice way of living. I do have some expectations. I'm trying not to, and I use that strategy that I explained. Like I try to see my life without that thing, and then I work until I can, and that's good. But yeah, but I'm optimistic when it comes to people. I always hope that they are going to shine.
I cannot.
And
I
yeah,
cannot.
yeah, yeah. So I guess we are almost running out of time. I would like to ask you a last question. I made some notes here about the video. So
I hate it.
yeah, so he says in the video, yeah, there are many ways of being happy. And so then he talks about faith and choosing the character and faith and character. He said that faith, we have like a range of options, like, let me see what I wrote, career, like, yeah, so for example, the place where we live, like, um, if we were born 20 years in the past or 20 in the future, there are faith, so that's those range of options of things are things that we cannot change. Those are fixed. So not everyone, I like that. It felt to me like he was saying that not everyone has the same opportunities. So obviously someone that was born someplace else, they have a different set of opportunities, of choices. And
Yes.
then what we choose made our character. So we should watch the options that we have, and we should choose like wisely. And yeah, so that is how we define our level of happiness. And I want to ask you, what is your recipe of happiness? And yeah, so how do you relate to the topic of
I
faith and
guess
character and happiness?
I I guess that what I would say, what I what I believe that might be the recipe for happiness is not to pushing it all to one thing. You cannot depend, as you said, on one thing. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot. push all your hopes and expectations and beliefs and all your energy on this one thing that you believe that
Yeah.
will go that way.
Yeah.
You have to.
In English, there is a sentence, sorry for interrupting you, that I love. Is like putting your eggs on one basket. I guess they use that to work, economy related. Don't put all your eggs on one basket. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I believe it's basically this. You cannot uh, put all your effort on one thing, and I believe that uh, for happiness on life, you you must believe that eventually it's all on your range. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is on your range. You can
Mm-hmm.
always achieve something. If you want
Sorry.
something, you always will be able to study until you'll be on the level to match that expectation. It, even more on these days that you will have every kind of thing online. You can basically learn everything online, and I think that you can always change the way things are. Even that you think, oh, like this country is very bad, the situation is not, people are starving, and on my situation, without a job, I'm on this way, but you can always make things change. But you have to push yourself to work. But I believe that the recipe is not to give up, it's just keep trying. Basically this. I
It
think that we
is.
have too much time and too much. He's very
He's
interested
meowing.
now.
He's meowing for my attention. He was in a clinic. He just came home yesterday. Wow. Wow. You see?
Uh,
You cannot hear him, can you?
no.
But
Okay.
he's yeah.
Now I listen. Yes.
Yeah.
And the other one is very sleepy.
Yeah, my bed is a mess. And we talked about that about making the bed. Yeah. Wow. So
But that,
mhm.
I guess that this is it. And you mentioned about happiness, about uh,
Yeah, and about
what
faith and character. Yeah.
I guess these two things are very mutable. I guess that you can put faith on everything basically. You just need to believe one thing to have faith on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, is this. And character, I believe it is a thing that the concept, the on my way of thinking, character is defined by a group or something like this. There
Mm-hmm.
are some a range of features that people use to aggregate a good value to it. So they said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so if you have like a stable job, or if you have, yeah, if you does a proper way of education to your kids, and these things can make us feel that someone has a good character or something. But these concepts, they may change very much through time, or even on a given period of time on different groups. So I also think that this is not a very uh, concrete definition. It's not a immutable definition.
Mm-hmm. No, it might change. It might change. I like how he mentioned that for Socrates, the recipe for happiness was create a form of life they want to live like they should live, that was right for them. And yeah, for me, that's the challenge, because we have society telling us how we should live our lives, other people's recipes, and it's like everything is like we should follow like the recipe, go to university, have jobs, get married, have children, get a house, or whatever it might be, the recipe, like everyone, at least that's those are the things that my parents tells me I should
Yeah,
accomplish in life. But is that what happiness really is for me? I still don't know. I'm still not sure. but I think it's our jobs like to try to define. It might be the case, like it might be what someone's really want, but I think we should contemplate this deeply and decide and come to an answer, like, is that what I want? Because what you might want, I will never forget, Wallace, one day that I was at my parents' city, and my room was for my window was for outside, like your room, like I could see like the street. And one day at 5 a.m., someone was, I forgot how to say, varrendo o chão. Do you know?
Uh,
To
yeah, eventually you can say cleaning or
cleaning,
brooming. I don't know if
yeah,
this is a good
yeah,
word.
yeah. I don't know how to say, but someone that every day, some ladies they would clean the streets. Like I knew that word, forgot. And then there was this lady singing, and then I remember thinking, it was like she's cleaning, it's 5 a.m., why is, and I could feel like the happiness in her voice. She was singing, I felt it, I felt touched by her singing. And then because for me, I thought someone who has this kind of job, I would think that someone, because for me, but now it's not how I think anymore. I think that more simple jobs, more simple life leads to more simple, I don't know, happy. I don't know what I think actually. I'm trying to figure this out
Yeah,
actually. But I remember thinking back then that because of her job, because of being up 5 a.m., how is she happy? Because I wouldn't, I thought back then, if I was up 5 a.m. cleaning the street, I wouldn't be happy, but she was. I wouldn't been singing, but she was. So maybe her like notion of what happiness means, she found true happiness. Like it might be the case, it might be not. She was just singing that day because I don't know. We never know. But I think that for me, I want to be singing. For me, if I one day will be singing at 5 a.m. on a Monday or 6 a.m. on a Monday, because no one is happy on Mondays, especially in the
yeah,
morning, maybe.
yeah,
I guess I'll be happy if I have a purpose. I wish I would have a purpose that would make me wake up singing, you know. So
yeah.
that was,
I believe that this there is someone who said something like uh, I forgot this exactly word, but something like uh, the lack of knowledge brings happiness or something like this. Like if you just I believe that whenever you keep like expanding your horizons and learning very different things and many things, it just works for you to add layers of complexity to your happiness. So you keep
yeah,
pushing your happiness to somewhere very far of where you are. So this keeps making you miserable. And
yeah,
maybe this kind of simple life, you do not need this amount of complexity for your
yeah,
happiness, and you get more
yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah. There is a one guy. Her name was Antonio Luciano. He owned half of Belo Horizonte. Don't know if you have ever heard of him. Um, yeah,
Probably, but they're not associated
he,
to the name.
yeah. He owned a lot of buildings. He died. He was even on Fantástico, this journal, that when he died, he left like 81 kids, children, and every one of them got like 9 millions. He was like a billionaire. He owned like half of Belo Horizonte. And my father was lucky enough to work with him, and he owned some farms, some land in the city where I was not born, but where I lived half of my life. And one day my father told me that he was with him in a farm with a lake, and then he said that if he was given the chance to be born again, if there was such thing as other lives, reincarnation and such, he wouldn't choose the life that he led, the life that he lived. He would choose to be born a farmist, a farm
Farmer.
person, farmer. Thank you, Alice. He would he if he had a choice, he would want to. be born a farmer in that land, and he would just be living like a simple life. That after he went through like this agitated life with lots of children and women and money and business, he thought it was not worth it. And my father always taught me that story, and then I always thought it might not be, but somehow we might be jealous of people like that, billionaires and people who are busy, Elon Musk who go to space and I don't know, Mars and things like that. But actually it might be such a fulfilling life to live like a simple life near a lake, basically because you said they don't know what they're missing. So what is that to like this sense of not doing like what you could be doing? I don't know, it's a complex matter.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's this one thing that I know that Einstein probably once said is that once you open your mind, you cannot close it again. Like
Yeah.
once you know the things, this is this Portuguese thing that we said that like não posso desver algo.
Unsee. I cannot
Yeah,
unsee.
yeah. Once you learn something, is this is one thing that people can't take it away from you. You just
Yeah.
know that thing, and you cannot unknow this thing anymore. So you cannot. Oh, I wish I did not. This is one thing that I said sometimes already. I said I wish I looked at some books and absolutely do not understood the things that were written about it,
Wow.
because there is these things that I pushed myself so hard to understand, and now now things are complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. How many books, just out of curiosity, how many books do you read a month or per year? You're always
it
reading something?
depends. Yeah, I'm probably always reading something, but I know that this year I read about, I don't know, some, I can check for you, but I think it was about a 30 books, something like this. I don't know. Let me see. I guess something like this. I'm
Yeah.
just opening my app to keep track of this kind of
Wow.
things.
So you read on Kindle?
Yes,
Mhm.
mostly on Kindle. Yes,
Okay.
I read actually 28 books this year already.
Okay. Do you read fiction as well or
Yes, I
non-fiction
read
only?
everything.
Okay. Cool.
I read
Wow.
everything.
28. I might have read 5 books this
But
year.
this number
Yeah.
means nothing.
It means a lot. I used to read a
Oh,
lot. Yeah, it means, but it's good. I want to, it's something, is a habit that I want to develop. I once had, but I want to keep reading more. It's very good to read. What am I reading now? Where are my books? No, I don't have a book here. But anyway, I would like to say thank you for
thank you
this
for
lovely
calling
conversation.
this.
No, that was lighter than the last time. Last time I mentioned to
Yeah.
you after we finished, I was, oh my God. But still it is still a very complex and
Yes.
it's a topic that we need to take into consideration seriously, really. But it, it I am happy and full of energy still. So
Yeah.
thank you. You chose wisely.
Thank you.
So I hope to see you soon in the channel. Thank you
Yes.
for
Hopefully.
participating, Wallace. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you too.
So bye.
Bye bye.